One championship legend Ben Askren has Georges St Pierre in his sights, but he might have to stay retired. Parked in the center of his own dedicated room, gently stretching his hamstrings on the resting mats, welterweight king Ben Askren was taking it all in. In less than 3 hours he would fight for the final time in his storied career. But you wouldn't know it. Calmly chewing the fat with his support team flanked around him, Askren kept a keen eye on proceedings. Fight 3-in-1 Championship, Immortal Pursuit on a television perfect placed at eye level. But the conversation wasn't about the fights. Nor tactics for his main event bout against Shinya Aoki. Of all things, they were chatting politics, corruption and Donald Trump. Soon enough, I was headed back for my seat cageside and a group of VIPs were about to greet the champion. This is part of parcel of fight night for the promotion's biggest star. And he didn't care one bit. In fact, he welcomed the hordes of faces that popped in and out of his dressing room, to catch a glimpse of the man and work and the shiny belt that took pride of place on the mantelpiece. One by one the fights were run and won. Eventually, just after 11 p.m. Singapore time, Askren would appear before his adoring fans. And seconds into round 1, 57 seconds to be exact, Askren extended his unbeaten record to 18-0. Ben Askren wants a bout with UFC champion Georges St Pierre, but he'll have to wait. Aoki quickly found himself inside the guard of the accomplished, Olympic and All-American wrestler, and was unable to avoid the bone-crunching strikes, cowering up on the canvas as Askren moved in for the kill. With no way out, and his hands desperately trying to shield the blows, the referee called a halt the bout. With a fourth title defense in his keeping, and the one championship strap placed around his waist, the popular American addressed the crowd. And it was his answer to the opening question that got tongues wagging. All week it was hammered home that this was Askren's swan song. Even his mother, in an interview that aired on the big screen seconds before his final fight, was relieved that he had called time. But with the words "I think this is it," the door was left slightly ajar. It had the press buzzing. "I reckon he'll fight again," was the common theme among the journalists in the press conference scrum. One reporter added, "He didn't categorically rule it out. He clearly said I think." It wasn't long before Askren was defending his choice of words in the press conference. "I'm done," Askren stressed. "I told you guys I'm done. Leave me alone," he said with tongue firmly in cheek. "You guys are harassing me." When pressed further, Askren admitted he may step back into the cage. "I said there's one possibility, not two, not three or not four, that I would come back to prove I am number one, and that's it." Days later it was confirmed, Askren wants a piece of dual UFC champion Georges St Pierre. Speaking to leading journalist Ariel Helwani on the MMA Hour, Askren said he was willing to step out of retirement but only to fight GSP. "If he needs a dance partner, I'm more than willing to do it," Askren said. "I'll come to Montreal and fit the bill for him. We'll fill out the Bell Center." Ben Askren punishes Shinya Aoki. The chances of Askren getting his wish for a matchup with GSP are slim. Firstly, GSP is injured and on the sidelines indefinitely. Secondly, the UFC has Aussie Rob Whittaker next in line for the Canadian. Then there's welterweight champ Tyron Woodley, with GSP potentially moving back to his natural division. But the biggest bump in the road is his strained relationship with UFC boss Dana White, who refused to sign Askren back in 2013. Askren has made not bones of his dislike for White, labeling him an egghead in the Skype interview with Helwani and declaring he had no trust for UFC bigwig. Askren also had multiple cracks at White in his post-fight press conference. "I love everybody, even the haters, except Dana White. He's a dirty scumbag," Askren said. Later in the press conference he gave White another clip around the ear. "He's a lowlife. It's clear money won't be the sole motivator for Askren, should he return. A UFC belt isn't the be-all and end-all, either. Guys, I've got enough money, I told you that in the press conference," Askren told reporters. "Two things I've learned: don't stay too long, don't spend all your damn money. I'm not staying too long, I haven't spent all my money. What would motivate me is not the money but the no."